All right, welcome back everyone for another deep dive with us. Today we're going to be looking at this blog post. It's called
Oh,
Notes on Fish Keeping, Part 90. Give your aquatic plants a gentle wash.
mm,
Now I know what you're thinking, fish keeping, really, but trust me on this.
right.
This is from kianmeng.org and it was published on March 8th, 2025.
Okay.
And it's actually pretty fascinating stuff.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So we're going to be diving into the world of a dedicated fish keeper and how they're handling a very specific problem.
Oh, this should be good.
So basically, this blogger, Ang, has these outdoor ponds, and they've been taken over by this plant called common salvinia.
I've heard of that one.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, it's a floating fern.
Right, exactly. And it's multiplying like crazy in these ponds.
That's not always a good thing.
No, it's not. So what's the big deal with a little extra plant life, right?
Well, the thing is, salvinia can get a little out of control.
I'm sensing a butt coming.
Well, it's known to be invasive in many parts of the world.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, and for good reason, too. It reproduces super fast, just by breaking apart.
So every little piece can start a new plant.
Exactly. And it can crowd out the native plants, too.
So it's not just a matter of the pond looking a bit unkempt.
It's about the whole ecosystem, really.
Right, because if this salvinia takes over, it can throw everything off balance.
Exactly. Think of it like a blanket covering the entire pond surface.
Okay.
No sunlight gets through for the other plants.
That's got to be bad news for them.
It is. Those submerged plants are vital for the fish and everything else living in there.
So it's like a chain reaction.
Exactly. One thing leads to another, and pretty soon the whole ecosystem is in trouble.
Wow, I never really considered the impact of too much shade in a pond.
It's crucial. And it's not just the sunlight that's the problem either.
What else?
All that salvinia on the surface prevents oxygen from dissolving into the water.
Oh, so the fish can't breathe.
It can lead to hypoxia, which is where the oxygen levels plummet.
Okay, so it's like the pond is suffocating.
It's not a good situation for the fish and other aquatic life.
That's pretty scary. So how do you deal with this salvinia invasion?
Well, Ang mentioned spraying them with water regularly.
Like mimicking rainfall.
Exactly.
But doesn't rain sometimes make plants grow even faster?
That's a good point. Rain can trigger growth spurts in salvinia.
It seems like a risky strategy.
It is. Ang is trying to clean the ponds without encouraging even more growth.
Sounds like a delicate balancing act.
It is. And to manage it further, Ang is going to relocate some of the salvinia to other ponds.
Spreading it around.
And they're also going to put some of it in plastic containers to contain it.
Okay.
And they specifically mention wanting to maintain a balance with another plant called duckweed.
Hold on, duckweed.
Yeah.
What is that and why does it matter in all of this?
Well, duckweed is another fast-growing floating plant.
Okay.
But unlike salvinia, it's tiny, almost like little green specks.
Interesting.
It's really important for the pond's ecosystem.
How so?
It provides food and shelter for smaller creatures.
So it's beneficial.
It is. But, like salvinia, if it grows too much, it can cause problems.
So it's a bit of a tug of war between the two.
Exactly. And now we come to those classic containers.
Oh, right, the ones Aang mentioned.
Yes. And remember they said they were previously used for something else?
Yeah, they used to have water sprite and guppies in them, right?
Exactly.
Is there a connection there?
I think there might be.
Okay, I'm all ears.
This detail could be a clue to how Aang approaches fish keeping.
All right,
Think about reusing those containers saves space.
sure.
But it could also be about creating a closed-loop system.
A closed-loop system, what's that?
Well, picture this. The guppies produce waste, right? And that releases nutrients into the water.
Okay.
And then those nutrients can be used by the water sprite.
Oh, so the water sprite cleans the water for the guppies?
In a way, yeah.
And by adding salvinia into those containers, Aang is tapping into that nutrient cycle, right?
That's the idea. Keeping the salvini contained, but also using its ability to absorb those nutrients.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. It's like creating a miniature self-sustaining ecosystem.
Exactly.
I can see why you found this blog post so interesting.
It's a great example of how, even on a small scale, thoughtful management can create a thriving, balanced environment.
So before we go any further into Aang's fish-keeping adventures, let's take a quick break.
Sounds good.
When we come back, we'll explore what could happen if that salvinia spreads,
Oh.
and what that could mean for larger ecosystems. Stay with us.
And we're back. And wow, I'm telling you, I am looking at my own little container garden in a whole new way after that last segment.
I know what you mean. It's amazing what we can learn from even a small ecosystem like Aang's ponds.
Right. It really shows how everything is connected, even in our own backyards.
Absolutely. And speaking of connections, you mentioned the potential dangers of that salvinia spreading.
Yeah, what could happen if it were to escape those containers and get into, like, a lake or a river? Ooh, that's a really good question. And it could have some serious consequences.
So it's not just a problem for people with fish ponds.
No, not at all. Salvinia is a major threat to freshwater ecosystems all over the world.
Really? Wow, I had no idea it was that serious.
Yeah, it can really cause a lot of ecological and economic damage.
Like what kind of damage?
Well, it can choke out native plants, for one thing, and that disrupts the whole food chain.
Right, because the fish and other animals depend on those plants.
Exactly. And it can also hinder navigation, for boats and things.
I wouldn't want to get my boat stuck in a salvinia mat.
And it can even affect water quality, too.
So it's a multifaceted problem.
Definitely. And it could be really tough to control once it takes hold.
So what can be done about it?
Well, there are a few approaches like mechanical removal, using herbicides, or even introducing insects that feed on salvinia.
Like a natural predator.
Yeah, but each method has its drawbacks.
So it sounds like prevention is the best strategy.
Absolutely. And that's where Aang's careful containment methods come in.
Right, by keeping the salvinia in those containers, they're helping to stop it from spreading.
Exactly. It's like they're running their own little conservation project.
That's a cool way to think about it. So we've talked about sunlight and oxygen being important for the balance of those ponds, but what about the nutrients in the water? Do they play a role too?
You bet they do. Both salvinia and duckweed love nutrient-rich environments.
And too many nutrients can lead to problems, right?
It can. It's called eutrophication, and it can cause all sorts of issues.
Like those algal blooms we hear about.
Exactly. Those are fueled by excess nutrients in the water.
So it's not just about managing the plants themselves, it's about understanding the whole ecosystem.
Precisely. It's a holistic approach and a really important takeaway from this whole discussion.
I'm learning so much. This is really making me rethink how I approach my own garden.
I'm glad to hear that. It's all about those connections, right?
Right. Speaking of connections, I keep thinking about those containers that Aang is using for the salvinia.
The ones that used to have water sprite and guppies in them.
Yeah, what's the significance of that, do you think?
Well, remember when we talked about a closed-loop system?
Vaguely. Remind me how that works again.
Sure. So the guppies produce waste, which releases ammonia into the water.
Okay.
And then bacteria convert that ammonia into nitrates, which are basically plant food.
Uh-huh.
The water sprite would have absorbed those nitrates, cleaning the water for the guppies.
Right.
And now with the salvinia in there, it's adding another layer to that system.
So the salvinia is kind of like a natural filter.
You could say that it's all about creating a balance where everything works together.
That's brilliant. Turning a potential problem into a resource.
Exactly. And that concept of resourcefulness goes beyond fish keeping.
How so?
Well, we can apply it to our everyday lives.
Okay.
Finding ways to reduce waste, reuse materials, and just generally be more mindful of our impact.
I like that. It's a good philosophy to live by.
It is, and I think it's becoming more and more important these days.
You're right. With all the environmental challenges we're facing, we need to be smarter about how we use our resources.
Absolutely. Every little bit helps.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I'm really starting to see things differently.
I'm glad to hear it. That's what we're here for.
Before we get too philosophical, though, I think it's time to wrap up part 2 of our deep dive.
Right.
When we come back, we'll delve into some of the broader themes that have come up in our discussion
Okay.
and leave you with some final thoughts to ponder. So stay tuned. We are back, and I gotta say, this deep dive into Aang's blog has been so much more interesting than I thought it would be.
It really has.
Who knew there was so much to learn about a few fish ponds?
Right. It just shows you that you can find fascinating things in the most unexpected places.
And it makes you wonder how many other hidden ecosystems are out there, like right in our own neighborhoods.
Probably more than we realize.
But before we get too carried away with that thought, I wanted to come back to something you mentioned earlier. That idea of resourcefulness, it seems like that's a big part of how Aang approaches fish keeping.
You're absolutely right. They're always looking for ways to be more efficient and minimize waste.
Like with those containers, using them for different purposes.
Exactly. And that mindset is something we could all learn from.
Totally. It's like that saying, one person's trash is another person's treasure.
Exactly.
Only in this case, it's more like one fish's waste is another plant's fertilizer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about seeing how things are connected and finding ways to use what we might otherwise throw away.
And that applies to so much more than just fish keeping.
Right, we can see it in things like permaculture and sustainable agriculture.
Even in how we design our cities.
Exactly, as a whole philosophy of living.
Thinking about how everything fits together and how we can create systems that are both productive and sustainable,
And it's a philosophy that's more important than ever.
especially with all the environmental challenges we're facing.
Yeah, we need to find ways to do more with less, close the loop on our consumption.
And create systems that regenerate instead of just taking and taking.
That's the key.
So, in a way, Eng's fish ponds are like a little microcosm of the big challenges we're all facing.
I think that's a really good way to put it.
They show us that even small actions can make a difference.
And that by paying attention to the details, we can come up with creative solutions.
This whole conversation has really been eye-opening for me.
I'm glad.
I'm seeing my own little garden in a whole new light.
It's amazing what you can learn when you start digging a little deeper, right?
It really is. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good.
Huge thank you to our expert for sharing their insights with us today,
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
and for helping us see the connections between a fish-keeping blog and the bigger issues in the world.
Happy to do it.
And to our listeners, thank you as always for joining us on this journey of discovery. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a topic that's sure to pique your interest. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.